get into this marry me chicken. You see that? That look good. It's super easy and quick, and I'm gonna show y'all how I made it. So I had some chicken thighs with the skin and bone on. And I got $10 worth of chicken from the meat market by my house. And I went ahead and I de-skinned it and I took out the bones. It wasn't that easy, but it wasn't that hard. Y'all could use a scissor or you could use a knife, whichever one is faster and easier for you. It's cheaper this way, but you could buy it already skinless and boneless. Then I added me some Knorr chicken bouillon. I added some Italian seasoning. And my bad, I didn't realize that the camera wasn't focused, so I apologize for that. Some paprika to give it some nice color, because y'all know paprika don't have no flavor unless it's smoked paprika. And I also added some Cajun style Louisiana seasoning. You could use Tony's or you could use whatever seasonings you like in your chicken, okay? But the key is to make sure your food is flavorful. I also added some onion powder and I added some garlic powder. And if you don't know how to season your food by eyeballing, start off with a teaspoon, because if you put too much, you can't take it out. So start off small and then you go ahead and add in what you think it needs more of. But salty stuff like seasonings with salt and stuff, you want to make sure you watch out for that. Don't put too much salt so it's not salty. And of course you got to add some complete seasonings, okay? And you see how well seasoned my chicken is? You can add whatever seasonings you like, but the point is to make sure your chicken has flavor. Then you're going to go ahead and put it to the side, and you're going to go ahead and start your mashed potatoes. I'm using some yellow potatoes. And when you're cutting up your potatoes, you want to make sure you cut them at the same size. Cut them the same size so they all cook at the same time. You don't have to use yellow potatoes or Yukon Gold potatoes. You can use russet potatoes. You can use red potatoes. However you like to do your mashed potatoes, you use that potato. And you don't have to do mashed potatoes. You could do pasta. You could do rice. To cook my potatoes, I'm going to put some of this Knorr's chicken bouillon in my water. And I'm going to add a little bit of sea salt. Don't add too much. You don't want salty food, but you want flavorful food. Then you're going to go ahead and add your potatoes to the water. Just be careful, okay? And I did switch my pot because the other one was too small. In my mashed potatoes, I'm going to put some Kerrygold unsalted butter and some garlic herb Kerrygold butter. But you can use whatever type of butter you want. You don't have to use the garlic butter, but this is my preference. This is what I used. And it came out delicious. I went ahead and I mashed that up and I added some sour cream. You don't have to put sour cream, but sour cream helps with the flavor and the texture. And I added some half and half. Another trick you can do is put the half and half, the butter, in a bowl, melt it, like heat it up, and then you can add it to your mashed potatoes. And of course I added my Better Goods cheese. I love this type of cheese from Walmart. Since the first time I tried it, I've been hooked, so I've been using it ever since. Then I went ahead and I started searing my chicken. You can use chicken breast if you don't really like chicken thighs as well. I've seen people use chicken breast. But yeah, so you're going to go ahead and sear your meat. Get a nice color on it on both sides. And the point of searing your meat is to lock in the flavor. And you want to make sure you don't overcrowd your pan so everything could cook evenly. When I felt like my meat was cooked perfectly on one side, I went ahead and I flipped it to the other side so the other side could cook. And as y'all can see, it has a nice brown color. So that's what you're looking for, a nice golden brown color. And while the meat was cooking, I went ahead and I did my mise en place and I cut up my onions. And now I'm finna add some Kerrygold unsalted butter. Then I went ahead and I added my diced onions and I let that cook down. And you do want to go ahead and get all that brown bits on the bottom because that's all flavor. Then I went ahead and I added some minced garlic paste, but you could use minced garlic, you could use fresh garlic that you minced yourself, but this is like an easier route, and I love these minced garlic paste rather than them jar things. These taste better to me. And then you're going to go ahead and let that cook down, not letting it burn. You want to make sure you keep, mixing it around so it doesn't burn, but you want it to cook. To deglaze my pan, I added some reduced sodium chicken broth, but you can use regular chicken broth if you wanted to. I just got this from Aldi, so I used that. I don't know how much I added, but I could say I probably added like a quarter cup or a third of a cup. I let that go ahead and come to a boil, and then I'm finna add some half and half. I used half and half, but the real recipe I've seen people use heavy cream. But as a cheaper alternative, I use half and half. Okay? I'm on a budget. Half and half. It works perfectly fine. It came out delicious. I probably added like a quarter cup of that half and half. Now the star of the show is these sun-dried tomatoes. This is what's going to give it that. It's like a certain flavor that it adds. I love sun-dried tomatoes. You can add it to avocado toast. You can add it to any type of dish and it will like elevate the flavor. So I added my sun-dried tomatoes. I added some Italian seasoning, a little bit of noir, chicken bouillon. You can add, whatever flavor that you think you need to add to your sauce. Because this is going to be your base sauce. And then I went ahead and I added my chicken back to the pot and let that reduce down. Now, if you're making this and adding it to pasta, you do want to make sure you have enough sauce. So I would say like double up the recipe for the sauce so you can have enough sauce for your pasta. Because ain't nobody trying to eat no dry pasta, okay? Then you finna add your Parmesan. You could add grated, you could add shaved Parmesan, whichever one is your preference. And this is how my mashed potatoes came out. I did add some butter on top. Now look at that chicken. That looks so good. When I say this was fire, too freaking good. Y'all have to try this recipe, y'all. I understand why they called it Marry Me Chicken. It's so good, y'all. If you cooking this for your man and he did not propose to you, you probably didn't make it right, okay? I'm just playing. So you're going to let it cook for maybe like 15 minutes just to make sure your chicken is thoroughly cooked. And this is how it should look. Too fire. And I added a little bit of parsley on top to make it look beautiful, okay? And now we're finna go ahead and plate this thing up. I added my chicken and I'm finna add some sauce on top. And some sun-dried tomatoes, because those are my favorite, like I said before. And presentation is key. If you're plating up a plate for your man or for somebody else, you always want to make sure it looks delicious. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if y'all tried this out. See y'all in another video. Thanks for watching.